full.
So we pulled this flow frame out of the hive to put it on the bench so you can see it in action and see a close-up of how it all works. Now, of course, you don't have to remove it out of the box to get the honey. We're just doing this for a demonstration. You can see the bees have really drawn the wax out and completed all the cells and filled it full of honey. There's still a few cells here that they haven't completed. Let's have a closer look. You can see the way they've capped it beautifully. Just have a look. Still some cells there that haven't been capped. You can see here they haven't quite finished filling the comb. They save those end cells to last, so you get a really good idea of how full and ready the honey is. So you want it to be mostly capped before you harvest. So there's been some questions about whether the honey's ready, and the answer is yes, it's perfectly ready, just as it is in any other type of honeycomb frame. As soon as they've capped it, the honey is perfectly ready. So these frames come out of the hive in much the same way as traditional honey frames, with the hook going under here. This is the standard beehive tool. There's a little screw in the end here which allows us to adjust the frame so it sits really tightly up against the other side of the box and makes sure the observation window at the other end stays in line. So there's a cap that comes out at the top, that's where the tool goes in, and there's one at the bottom that comes out, and this is where the tube goes in. So I've just got a short tube here just for the purpose of demonstrating and getting the honey to our jar. So you'll see two slots here. Now the bottom one's used to open the cells and harvest the honey. You can use one tool or two. I'm going to use two here because they'll work against each other and won't tip the frame over. So all I have to do is move these down like so. And what's happened is inside the honeycomb, the cells have split and turned into channels for the honey to flow down and out of the hive. So let's have a look at that. If I grab a look down the honey tube.
Oh.
Look at that, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? That beautiful honey just draining down. Wow. Let me get a bit closer. Ooh, there it goes. So you can see that quite quickly draining out of the frame. Look at that honey just pouring out, that beautiful fresh honey. So you notice it's pretty much free from wax, it just comes out pure and clean, there's no filtering needed. So you can see here the dark area, that's where the honey's still draining down, and where it's light, the honey's actually all drained out already. So here you can see the capping hasn't actually changed. The bees are standing on top of this and the honey just drains out from beneath their feet. The capping hasn't really been disturbed at all. Over here you can see how the channels are formed inside the comb. Where they haven't capped it, we get a really good look at that. See those zigzagging channels that guide the honey down and out of the hive. It's been about 10 minutes and we've got that much honey already. About 1.5 kilograms. So we continually get the feedback from beekeepers that it tastes like comb honey. It tastes like when you chew on fresh honeycomb. And we think it's because the honeys aren't mixed up. They're not mixed with all the other frames in the hive. And the honey hasn't been spun through the air in the centrifuge and exposed to all that oxygen. Apparently honey loses some of its floral flavours from oxidisation. So it's been 20 minutes and now I've got that much honey. And you can see it slowing down here. Look down the tube now. You can see the honey's drained out of this end frame view now. A little bit still there, draining down at the end. So here you can see how the capping hasn't changed at all. The bees could be standing on top of this comb surface and hardly ever notice anything going on. Whereas where they haven't drawn the honeycomb cells out as far, you can see there is a little bit of disturbance there. So we initially thought we would have to coat the whole honeycomb matrix in wax in order to get the bees to like it. But we didn't have to at all. You can put this straight in, no wax coating, and the bees take to it and build all this beautiful honeycomb on it. In fact, we've tested using traditional wax frames and these side by side in a box, and they'll build on these and the flow frames at the same time. It's really quite amazing. So it doesn't have to be either or. You can have flow frames in the middle of your box and then a couple of traditional wax ones either side. You can have the best of both worlds. You can have a whole nother box of traditional frames or another box of flow frames. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can see how all that honey's drained out now and the comb's going quite light. Still a few drips dripping from the ceiling. Gorgeous. So you don't need to leave these tools in the whole time. Once you've opened the frame, you can take them out and move on to the next one. Such beautiful honey. So the best time to harvest the honey is when the bees have capped it fully, so they can be standing on the comb surface and really not notice much difference. But if you harvest the honey early and there's bees down the cells, then we've designed it so the bees won't get hurt. And we've done that. You can see here a fresh one that's had no wax on it yet. And you can see the space we've left, so the bees won't get a wing or a leg caught. So to reform the honeycomb so the bees can fill it up again, we use the top slot. So it's a matter of putting your tool in the top here and turning it once again, and that's it. The honeycomb is now ready for the bees to fill again. Now another thing we've designed is that if you forget and you leave that up, I'll just put that up again, you can't actually get the cap to go in. So to remind you that you need to put the comb back into the cell form position for the bees to fill with honey, we've made it so you do actually have to close the cells again, and then the cap will go in. So the honey's coming out nice and slow now, and if I'm in a hurry and I don't want to wait any longer, I can take this tube out, and we've designed a little point here. That means when we put this cap in, any remaining honey will drain out of the trough and back into the hive. So we'll put that cap in now, and you can actually watch the bees licking up through this little slot, and they'll clean that whole trough out just by continuing to lick the honey, and that way there's no honey left in the trough going fermented or candied. Look at that big jar of honey. Isn't that beautiful? Now the bees will notice all the honey is drained from out of the cells. They'll chew all that capping off in a day or two and be refilling it with honey again. It's a wonderful thing.